When I woke up the next morning, I blinked groggily, stretching a little before realizing the other side of the bed was empty. For a second, my heart jumped. Where's Min Jae? I got up, rubbing my ears and listening. Then I heard it, soft laughter coming from the kitchen. My mom's voice, and his, curious. I padded out of my room and stopped dead at the doorway. Min Jae, hair a little messy, was standing beside my mom at the stove, flipping pancakes like he'd lived there all his life. My mom was laughing at something he'd said, and even she looked lighter, softer. I froze. I didn't know what shocked me more, the fact that Min Jae was cooking in our kitchen, or that my mom was actually enjoying his company. He must have felt my stare because he turned around, spatula in hand, and grinned. "Oh, you're finally up. Good morning, sleepyhead." I blinked, caught completely off guard. Good morning. What are you doing?" "Making breakfast," he said, like it was the most normal thing in the world. "Your mom said she needed an extra hand, so I volunteered." My mom glanced over, smiling. "He's surprisingly helpful, you know. I might just keep him." Min Jae chuckled, and I swear my chest did something weird. That warm, fluttery thing again. I crossed my arms, trying to play it cool. "You didn't have to, you know?" He shrugged, flipping a pancake with easy confidence. "It's the least I could do after crashing at your place. Besides, your mom makes amazing food. I had to earn my share somehow." My mom laughed again, swatting him gently with a kitchen towel. "Flattery will get you everywhere, Min Jae." I rolled my eyes, but there was no denying it. I was smiling too. The sight was just warm. The smell of pancakes, the quiet laughter, the sound of plates clinking. It felt like a family breakfast scene straight out of one of those cheesy dramas. When everything was done, my mom motioned for us to sit. The table was full: pancakes, eggs, some fruit, even a pot of soup. I took my seat beside Min Jae, trying to ignore how our arms brushed when we reached for the same jug of juice. My mom sipped her tea, eyeing the both of us with a small smile. "Min Jae, I'll call a locksmith later today to help open your door. All right?" Min Jae looked up from his plate, flashing that easy grin again. "Oh, there's no rush, ma'am. Take your time." Her eyebrows lifted in amusement. "Are you sure? You sound like you don't want to leave." He laughed softly. "Maybe your cooking's too good. I might get used to it." My mom smiled, clearly entertained, but I could tell she was studying him. Like she could already see what I was only starting to feel. That he did enjoy being here. That he felt safe. I glanced at him from the corner of my eye. He was happily eating, chatting with my mom, and looking like he belonged there. Like he'd always been part of this space. And for a strange, fleeting moment, I wished he could stay like this forever. After breakfast, I waited until Mom started getting ready in her room before sneaking in to talk to her. She was fixing her hair in front of the mirror when I leaned against the doorframe. "Mom," I began, trying to sound casual. "You're treating Min Jae really well. I didn't expect that." She turned around, eyebrow raised. "And what did you expect, Ji Hoon? That I'd throw a slipper at the poor boy?" I laughed. "No, but I thought you didn't like his mom." Mom chuckled softly, shaking her head. "Oh, I still don't. That woman is something else. But Min Jae, he's nothing like her. I thought he'd be stuck up too. But he's actually quite a good-natured boy. Polite, humble. And he helped me make breakfast without even being asked. That's rare." I didn't say anything for a moment. Just hearing her speak so kindly about him made me weirdly happy. "Yeah," I admitted quietly. "He's not bad." Mom caught my expression in the mirror and smirked. "Not bad, huh?" I rolled my eyes, pretending to be unbothered. "I just meant he's tolerable." Hum," she hummed teasingly, slipping on her earrings. "Well, you two behave yourselves today. I've got a cooking gig across town, and I'll be gone till evening. So please, no burning down my kitchen." I smiled faintly. "We'll manage." She stood up and faced me, eyes soft. "Good. I have to admit that I was wrong, Ji Hoon, when I tried to stop you and Min Jae from being close. Now that I've gotten to know him, I understand why you are drawn to him." But then she leaned closer. However, it should be just friendship. Nothing more. I hope I'm clear, she said with a serious tone. The message was clear. That one hit differently. I just nodded, unsure what to say as she left. What did she mean by that? Was she suspecting something going on between I and Min Jae? After Mom left, the house suddenly felt quieter. Almost too quiet. I lingered in the living room for a while, scrolling through my phone, before I heard the sound of running water from the kitchen. When I peeked in, Min Jae was at the sink washing the dishes. His hair was still a little messy from sleep, and he looked surprisingly at ease, like he'd done this 100 times before. I couldn't just stand there doing nothing, so I walked in and grabbed a towel. "I'll dry," I said, taking a plate from the rack before he could protest. He glanced at me, a small smile tugging at his lips. "Your mom's really nice," he said, rinsing off another plate. "I didn't expect that." I chuckled, leaning against the counter. "Yeah, me neither. Honestly, I thought she'd give you the cold shoulder or something." He laughed softly. "Same. I thought it was going to be really difficult to win her over, but it turned out a lot differently. She actually said you're a good kid." I told him, surprising myself by sharing that. "Said she thought you'd be stuck up like your mom." Min Jae's eyes widened. Then he laughed again. "Wow, your mom's honest. She's worse when she's comfortable," I said with a grin. "Consider yourself lucky." We worked in a comfortable silence for a while, me drying, him washing. Felt normal, domestic even. Something about it made my chest feel oddly warm. When we finished, Min Jae turned off the tap and leaned against the counter beside me. "So," he began, looking at me with that curious glint in his eyes. "It's the weekend. Anything you want to do?" I shrugged, tossing the towel aside. "There's a comic fest downtown. I was planning to check it out later." His eyes lit up. "Comic fest? Sounds fun. I'll go with you." I immediately frowned. "No, you don't have to. It's just crowded, noisy, and full of nerds. You'll hate it." He crossed his arms, smirking. "Who says I'll hate it? I like comics too, you know. Could be fun." Couldn't help but sigh. Fine, you can come. But don't say I didn't warn you." On the bus ride there, the air felt light, buzzing almost. I hadn't realized how much I'd missed this kind of excitement until now. The city rolled past outside the window, the morning sun slanting through the glass, and I could already see the colorful banners for the Comic Fest fluttering in the distance. I must have been grinning without realizing it because Min Jae, sitting beside me, tilted his head and said, "You look like a little kid about to visit an amusement park. Do you love comics that much?" I laughed, feeling slightly embarrassed. "Yeah, kind of. Comics and webtoons have always been my escape." "Escape?" he repeated curiously, shifting in his seat to face me better. I hesitated for a second. It wasn't something I usually talked about, but maybe it was the way he asked, genuine, soft. "When my parents were going through their divorce," I began, my voice quieter now. "Everything felt chaotic. They fought all the time. It was ugly. I used to lock myself in my room and just draw for hours. It helped me forget. I guess that's when I realized stories and art could make pain feel smaller." Min Jae's expression softened. "I didn't know that." "Yeah," I said with a shrug, looking out the away. "That's also why I never really believed in love. Seeing them ruin each other like that, it just made it hard to think love was real." He was quiet for a moment, studying me. Then he asked, "So, you really don't have anyone you love right now?" The question caught me off guard. My chest tightened, and before I could stop it, my ears felt hot. "What kind of question is that?" I muttered, trying to sound casual. "No, I don't." But I knew my tone was too defensive. Way too defensive. He smirked slightly, clearly unconvinced. "Really? Not even a crush?" I could feel his eyes on me, and I had to look away. "Nope, not at all." He didn't buy it. I could tell from the amused little hum he made. "Okay then, have you ever even been in a relationship before?" I groaned. "Why are we talking about this?" "Because I'm curious," he said simply, smiling in that infuriatingly calm way of his. Don't you ever wonder what it's like to be with someone? I turned to him, raising an eyebrow. What about you? You talk like some kind of dating expert. You been in that many relationships? He shrugged like it was no big deal. A few. Mostly because the girls asked first. I blinked. They asked you? Yeah. I didn't want to say no and make them feel bad, so I just went along with it. I frowned, trying not to sound irritated. You dated them out of pity? He laughed softly. Pretty much. But his tone shifted slightly, gentler, more thoughtful. There's someone I'm actually interested in lately. Someone I'd want to ask out for real. Something inside me twisted. My stomach sank before I could even stop it. Oh, I said, forcing a smile. That's good. You should go for it. My voice sounded a bit too rehearsed, but he didn't seem to notice. Or maybe he did. His smirk was too knowing, like he could see right through me. I looked out the window again, desperate for a distraction, and thankfully, there it was. Ah, we're here, I said a bit too quickly as the bus slowed down and the colorful tents of the comic fest came into view. Crowds of people in costumes, stalls filled with posters and art books. It was enough to make my heart race again. Come on, I said, grabbing my bag excitedly. He laughed behind me, following as we stepped off the bus. But even as the noise of the festival filled the air, I couldn't quite shake the question echoing in my head. Who was he planning to ask out? The comic fest was like walking into another world. Everywhere I looked, there were colors, laughter, and creativity bursting from every corner. Cosplayers posed for photos, artists displayed rows of beautiful prints, and the scent of popcorn and hot dogs floated through the air. This is insane, I breathed, turning around slowly to take it all in. My heart was practically jumping in my chest. I think I'm in heaven. Min Jae laughed behind me. You look like a 5-year-old who just saw his first amusement park. I didn't even care. Can you blame me? Look at all this. We started weaving through the crowd together. Every few steps, I stopped at a booth to flip through sketchbooks or check out new webtoon volumes. My bag was already filling with freebies, and I couldn't stop smiling. Out of the corner of my eye, I noticed Min Jae wasn't really looking at the stalls. He was watching me instead, smiling faintly. What? I asked, catching him staring. Nothing, he said quickly, looking away with a small grin. You just look happy. It suits you. I tried to ignore how warm that made me feel and focused on a nearby booth. But then, my eyes landed on something that made my steps falter. It was a small stage area near the back, with a huge banner hanging above it. Webtoon Artist Competition. Submit your entry today. I froze. For a second, it was like all the noise around me dimmed. People were already signing up, showing off their work, laughing. My chest tightened a little and I looked away. Min Jae must have noticed my expression because he walked up beside me. You should go for it, he said softly. I blinked. What? The competition, he nodded toward the banner. You're a great artist, Ji Hoon. You should enter. I shook my head quickly. No way. My mom would lose it if she found out. She already thinks drawing is just a hobby. She wants me to focus on school. Have you actually told her how much this means to you? He asked, folding his arms. That made me pause. She doesn't understand, I muttered. She thinks it's just some silly dream. He tilted his head. You sure about that? 'Cause from what I've seen, your mom seems pretty reasonable. Maybe she'd surprise you if you just talked to her properly. I sighed, not answering. He stepped a little closer, his tone firm but kind. Look, Ji Hoon. Sometimes, if you keep avoiding what you really want, you'll just end up regretting it later. You love drawing. You're good at it. Why not take a chance? I looked at him, then at the stage again. My heart was pounding, but not from fear this time. From something more hopeful. Maybe he was right. Before I could overthink it, I walked over to the sign-up desk and scribbled my name down. Min Jae let out a cheer. There you go. I laughed, shaking my head. I can't believe I just did that. You'll thank me later, he said, grinning wide. The next thing I knew, he pulled me into a hug, strong and full of excitement. I froze for a second, caught off guard, but then I relaxed into it. His warmth, his scent, the sound of his heartbeat. It all felt too real, too close. And then, as if time slowed, we both looked up at the same time. Our faces were inches apart, breath mingling. My heart thudded so loud I was sure he could hear it. His eyes flicked to my lips, and for a split second, I forgot how to breathe. Then, my phone blared in my pocket, making us both jump. My phone vibrated in my hand, the screen flashing Taeyong. I blinked in surprise, glancing quickly at Min Jae before picking it up. "Hey," I said, trying to sound casual even though I could already tell from his tone that it was something important. "Ji Hoon." Taeyang's voice came through the speaker, bright and energetic as always. "I've got good news. I spoke to my manager, and they've agreed to let Na Min come along on our tour as a temporary songwriter." I almost jumped. "Are you serious? That's amazing." "Yeah," he chuckled, clearly proud of himself. "But there's one condition: they want to see some of his songwriting samples first, just to make sure he's the real deal." "Of course, that's not a problem," I said, grinning from ear to ear. "You don't know how much this means to me, Taeyong. Thank you so much." There was a pause. Then, in a slightly softer tone, he said, "Actually, could you give me his number? I'd like to talk to him directly, just to make him feel comfortable." I raised an eyebrow at that. "You want to talk to him personally?" "Yeah," he replied a bit too quickly. "It's just professional courtesy. That's all." "Uh-huh," I muttered, fighting back a teasing smile. "Sure, professional courtesy." He laughed awkwardly. "Don't overthink it, Ji Hoon." "I'm not," I said, still smiling. "All right, I'll send it to you." When we hung up, I was still buzzing from excitement, but the moment I turned, Min Jae was staring at me with that look. "Why were you so happy talking to Taeyong?" he asked, crossing his arms. "You two sounded a little too close." I blinked at him. "What? No, it's not like that." "Then what is it?" he pressed. I sighed and rubbed my temples. "You have to promise me you won't tell anyone about this. Okay?" He frowned but nodded. "Okay." So we found a private place at a park and I told him everything. About Na Min, about the truth behind those letters, about how Taeyong thought I was the one who wrote them when, in reality, it was Na Min all along. And finally, about Na Min's illness, Max syndrome, and how it was slowly breaking his body down. By the time I finished, Min Jae's expression had completely changed. His teasing was gone, replaced by quiet shock and sympathy. "I didn't know," he said softly. "Yeah," I whispered, staring at my hands. "I'm scared something bad might happen before Na Min ever gets to tell Taeyong how he really feels. That's why I'm trying to give him this chance. To at least let him experience something good before." My throat tightened before I could finish. Min Jae reached out and squeezed my shoulder gently. "You're a good friend, Ji Hoon. Seriously, not many people would go this far for someone else. I hope Taeyong understands the truth someday, and I hope Na Min can get better." His words hit me deeply. I smiled faintly, though my chest still felt heavy. "Thanks. Come on, it's getting late," he said softly. "Let's head home." As if on cue, a low rumble of thunder rolled through the sky. Raindrops began to fall, light at first, then heavier. We both looked up just as the bus pulled into the stop ahead. I was about to grab my bag when Min Jae suddenly took my hand, his fingers warm against mine. "Let's run for it." So we ran, through the rain, through the puddles, laughing like idiots as we raced toward the bus. My hair was drenched, my shoes squeaked, but I didn't care, because at that moment, with Min Jae's hand in mine and the world around us spinning in rain and light, I realized something I'd never felt before: pure, unfiltered happiness. For once, everything felt right. Meanwhile, miles away, Na Min lay curled beneath his blanket. He had drifted off after his medication, exhausted and weak, when his phone began to buzz softly on the nightstand. Groggy, he reached for it, put on his glasses and squinted at the screen. An unknown number. He hesitated for a second before answering. "Hello?" There was a brief pause. Then, a voice warm, familiar, and unexpectedly gentle filled his ear. "Hey, Namin, it's Taeyong." Namin froze. For a heartbeat, he thought he was dreaming. I heard about you." Taeyong continued, his tone sincere. "How are you feeling?" The phone trembled slightly in Namin's hand as his breath caught in his throat. Thanks for watching. Do like and subscribe to the channel for more episodes. Love you all.